Where do you see the industry headed in California this year and the near future?
The one thing I can say about the industry this year is that you're going to see even more consolidation. You're going to see a lot of businesses fold. It's just there's too much cannabis on the market right now here in California. So you're seeing that you're going to see bigger players arise and unfortunately get more market share as we go.
Welcome to the KayaCast, the podcast for cannabis businesses looking to launch, grow, and scale their operations.
Where's California today with hemp?
Great question. Yeah, intoxicating hemp products are banned per the emergency regulations by the governor just introduced probably about 2 months ago. Now you can grow hemp here as long as you're approved in the local level, and it's not treated like cannabis at all. So it's a completely different set of permits. It's not regulated by the Department of Cannabis Control. It's more related by the Department of Food and Agriculture here in California. So just the general layout is like, yeah, you can get a license to grow it. It can't be above 0.35%. Technically, we all know there's shenanigans that happen with that, where a lot of hot product is getting out into the market and being sold through various channels. So it's allowed to be grown. Essentially, the Farm Bill allows for the cultivation of hemp. Some counties ban it. Here in California, I know Mendocino County and maybe some of the other counties in the Emerald Triangle ban it because they do not want hemp products growing next to cannabis products for, I believe it's basically the hermaphrodite and destroy the cannabis plant. They don't want to mess with that. Not here in Monterey County where we're at, I think they allow it. I don't see a lot of hemp, but yeah, wild policy. Obviously, there's definitely some efforts by trade groups, both on the cannabis and the hemp side, to integrate it into the cannabis market where cannabis licensees can produce and sell it. Combustible hemp products are banned, so anything smoking, probably won't be allowed in California.
Okay, so there may be potential to integrate it into the cannabis industry and then sell beverages.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So within the cannabis supply chain, the idea is to sell beverages that are, and they're still working on the definition of what's like intoxicating with this. So let's just say the discussion points have been around 5%. Hypothetically, any beverage from a hemp product over 5% would need to be sold in the dispensary chain, and anything under could be sold in a non-dispensary chain to a consumer. So,
wow. So do you foresee cannabis beverage or hemp beverages in restaurants where they serve alcohol too?
100%.
Oh, wow.
100%.
That's amazing.
If not, so let's say a legislative effort is successful this year. The legislature just recently came back into session. The bill introduction deadline, I believe here in California, is February 21st. So there's going to be a hemp bill of some sort introduced. It's what's going to happen. So hypothetically, if that were to pass, something like that would probably go into effect at the beginning of 2026. And then the whole process, there might be a regulatory process attached to that would push it out another 6 months. I would venture to guess, let's just fast forward to January 1, 2027. I have a feeling that you'll be able to buy hemp beverages in restaurants, stores, etc., non-dispensary retailers.
So not hemp, just normal cannabis. Why aren't there any, and maybe it's a demand thing, low THC beverages?
That is a good question. I think it's a demand thing. I think honestly, like most people that shop in the dispensary want like a higher dose. So a lot of the beverages are like 100 milligrams total.
Yeah, it's insane. You go to moon.
Yeah.
You go to the moon with that.
If I drink 100 milligrams, I'm going to the moon. I'm probably going to Mars. And it's stupid because per regulations, they're supposed to dose. So on the can, you got this tall boy can, and then it has a mark for 10 milligrams, the volume that's 10 milligrams.
Yeah.
So that's how they separate it out. But I'm like, come on, you're drinking this delicious drink, and I'm going to stop. I'm going to be like, oh, I drink like an eighth of it, and I'm going to stop there because I'm going to get over my milligram tolerance. This is not going to happen. Most people are just going to, because they taste really good. Why not kill it or drink half
So
of
do
it?
you think, let's say hemp is our entryway into restaurants for low dose beverages.
Hmm.
Do you think there'll ever be a time where just normal cannabis has low dose beverages because the demand is there? And then you can sell that into restaurants as well? What's the
That is a
difference?
that is a great question. No talks about that, but why not? Why
Yeah.
not? Okay, hemp and to me, hemp and look at I'm not a biologist or anything like that, but hemp and cannabis are essentially the same thing to me. They're the same plant, so why not? Maybe this is a way, and I think there's been kind of discussions about maybe this is a way to just get the camel's nose under the tent, and then eventually, yeah, we do something like that. Like we sell straight cannabis, low dose cannabis into a non-dispensary channel. Maybe that's it. I'm all for that. At the end of the day, I'm like, look, maybe I'm a libertarian, but I think that like we should be able to sell cannabis anywhere essentially that has the proper age verification. Okay, I can buy cigarettes at a gas station. Those are damage. Those are just horrible for your health. I can buy alcohol, same thing, as long as I show my ID. So what should be the difference between buying a cannabis product and that I consider way safer than alcohol or tobacco? But it's okay just to
Yeah,
go to a
that's
liquor
this is what the
to
industry
consume.
needs.
Yeah, we need to be integrated into society and our products need to be
That's
able to be
that's what
sold
we
to,
need. Like what?
yeah,
So that's what the industry needs in terms of a boost. If we can sell low dose, whatever, we'll the ultimate goal is to sell whatever it is anywhere, but low dose, like a beer,
yeah,
in a
100%.
supermarket. That's cannabis. That is what the industry needs.
Yeah, we really do. We really do. And unfortunately, and I don't know what it's like in Canada, but unfortunately in California, most cities stick dispensaries in like bad parts of town. They're not usually close to a freeway exit. It's really inconvenient to actually buy cannabis through their traditional dispensary market. It's not the dispensary's fault, it's just the regulations and the cities have made it tough to like have prime locations that allow easy access to consumers or to patients. For instance, so I said I'm from Sacramento. Technically, I'm from a town city just directly south to Sacramento that does not allow dispensaries.
Oh
So
wow.
I have to drive to when I want to go to a dispensary, I have to drive 15, 20 minutes away to a dispensary, to my Embark dispensary, and purchase cannabis. I can't buy it within the city limits of Elk Grove. And a lot of people in California are in the same situation. So they have to get in their car and drive. Or if they wanted delivery, technically I could have a delivery service come in. They can't stop that. But no offense to the delivery services, but it just delivery in California, it seems, and maybe there's some quicker ones, but it takes like hours to get your cannabis,
Yeah.
and then you got to pay more for it too. It's just really the system has set up a really bad retail experience for cannabis, and frankly, there's some dispensaries out there here in California that you probably don't want to step into. It's not a good experience as a
Hmm.
consumer. You got low information bud tenders. They're just wanting to move people. They don't really sit and listen to why you need cannabis, and maybe you have a medical issue and you have back pain. What's the best strain for me? For legalization, a lot of dispensaries were actually open to like really focused on the medical side because we technically had a medical program here in California, and I frankly found that a little bit better because you would actually get good information about your cannabis and about where it came from and side effects and all of that.
Where do you see the industry headed in California this year and the near future?
The one thing I can say about the industry this year is that you're going to see even more consolidation. You're going to see a lot of businesses fold. It's just there's too much cannabis on the market right now here in California. So you're seeing that you're going to see bigger players arise and unfortunately get more market share as we go. So
It's
that's what's going to happen. And then possibly you may see a tax increase as well on cannabis products based on, I'm going to try to be nice here. You know what? I'm not going to be nice. Frankly, there was this really horrible piece of legislation passed 2 years ago. It's AB 195. It was what's called a budget trailer bill here in California. Essentially, we had the system before then where the distributors collected the excise tax from the retailers, and so the distributors were basically pushed back against this because they were not getting paid for invoices which included the excise tax. So essentially they were like on the hook for this excise tax, and then for the actual product they sold the retailers. So what this did, and at the same time we had a cultivation tax. So what this piece of legislation did was it moved the excise tax collection to retail. Whenever a consumer comes in, pays for their cannabis, that excise tax is tacked on to all the other local taxes and whatever. That's another issue, compounding taxes, etc. So essentially, tax collection has moved to the retail level, and then they got rid of the cultivation tax. However, they put this little provision in there. It's like a trigger. So if the excise tax collection from retail does not match what we would have collected from the cultivation tax, there's a trigger in there that allows the state to adjust, the taxation agency at the state, to adjust the excise tax up to 19%. Now, the California market since 2021, since the heyday of COVID, has plummeted.
Yeah.
You see it. Has just completely plummeted. So now the state is not collecting that revenue because the industry has plummeted and overproduction, etc. So now cannabis tax revenue has gone significantly down. And so now we've hit that trigger where the excise tax essentially, they're going to take a vote. The taxation agency, the California Department of Tax and Fee Administration, will take a vote. I believe it's in June or July. And essentially, they will vote, and they almost have to because it's law, the trigger, and they're going to probably put in a 19% excise tax, and that'll go up for 4% from the 15% it is currently. There is some efforts to try and stall this, but frankly, it's a tough sell because the state's broke, the cannabis fund's broke. Unfortunately, cannabis doesn't have a really strong lobbying presence in the state capitol. And frankly, we're disorganized, and a lot of the legislatures don't like that and don't really trust us, which is unfortunate. Yeah, we're dealing with some interesting times coming ahead. So.
Gosh, that's just, how can any retailer compete with the gray market?
They can't.
That,
they can't. They just. I want to say they can, but you just can't. I mean,
you can't.
Yeah, we are really at the mercy of the state and the local governments to enforce on this. And frankly, it's more the state, and they've really dropped the ball on enforcement. Mm-hmm. You'll see they'll release this. They'll put something out on social media.
What are your guys' plans on how to navigate uncertainty and what's coming?
Yeah, we're doing the best we can. So what we're trying to do is produce good quality cannabis that our buyers want to purchase. We are really focusing on working with brands and producing their product for them. Like I mentioned, we have 10 different licenses. So we have 5 indoor cultivation licenses. We have a distribution, nursery, processing, non-storefront retail, which is a delivery license, and a manufacturing license. We're trying to really shift more towards providing all-in-one services for brands as far as growing, jarring, and distributing. That's how we're trying to hedge the bulk market per se. And then also efficiencies, trying to build efficiencies with the company. That's honestly the best thing we can do. We can't control the illegal market. To most extent, we can't control the prices because of that or the overproduction. But I guess the silver lining with cannabis is if you grow quality product, it usually sells itself.
Yeah.
That's still true. Hopefully it stays true, but that's our game plan. But I'm not gonna lie, it's scary working in the cannabis industry. You don't know what's going to happen. You hear every day about companies going under, big companies going under. We've lost major companies in California. We lost Herbal, which was a large distributor that employed hundreds of people. We've lost MSOs such as like Select. Who else? Cresco, which is barely hanging on in California. They're a huge MSO. Here in Monterey County, the tax reduction has gone down 60% in the county because these cultivators are just failing left and right. And you're seeing big companies like State House, State House here in Monterey, they have a bunch of licenses here in Monterey County. They just put up a lot of their major licenses under receivership. So we don't know if those are going to get bought out and come back as a different company or what's going to happen there. But it's a scary time to be working in the cannabis industry, and I'm not going to lie, I get nervous sometimes. I have a family, I have 2 kids, but I'm sticking with it. And I love the people and the culture, and just hoping for good things and trying to do the best I can in my position to help my company succeed.
Yeah, there's consolidation that happens in every single industry. Now, it's happening a lot faster, I think, in the cannabis industry just due to circumstance.
Mm-hmm.
We see it happen in Canada as well. So in Canada, you have mega groups. In Canada,
Yeah.
it's federally legal, so it's a lot easier to move in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
But as well as really great operators are really great operators, and no matter what, they'll survive. Even during COVID, I remember we have a lot of clients in the restaurant industry, and the really great operators actually made the same money.
Wow.
Now, they may have sold less, but their bottom line was not that far off.
I love that. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate. What do you think? How would rescheduling to Schedule 3 impact the industry? Is it a lot or is it a little? And do you think that's going to happen anytime soon? And if it does, is that a boost?
Yeah, let's get to whether it will happen or not. I honestly thought the Biden administration, it was really unfortunate because they used cannabis as a pawn to get votes. And essentially, we're going to descheduleize cannabis. And at the time when they announced that, Biden's poll ratings were just plummeting. And yeah, they started the DEA hearings and all of that, DEA hearings. And nothing's happening. It's been delayed. There's a lawsuit now. There's all sorts of stuff going on. And frankly, from everything we've seen from the Trump administration or heard, that they're not going to be so friendly towards cannabis either. So do I think it's actually going to happen anytime soon? To 3, I don't think so. Honestly, I don't know what rescheduling to 3, how that could benefit the industry, especially some of the small players in the market. I think it would essentially it would wipe out most of the small players. There would be more regulations on cannabis from the federal level now. So as you place more regulations on businesses, the larger ones tend to survive because they have the capital to sustain the financial impacts of those regulations. And so I think that's where we're at with Schedule 3. I would like to see a complete deschedule of cannabis. I think that would be better. I would like to see federal legalization at some point. Once again, I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. But who knows? Hey, I hope I'm wrong. Honestly, I really do. But I will say with federal legalization too, you might have the same problem where a lot of these kind of small craft cultivators, and maybe this is more of a California issue because you go to a lot of states in America and they don't have a lot of small cultivators like we do. Frankly, I guess I'm a proud Californian, especially with cannabis. I believe we're the epicenter.
Oh, you guys have the best bud.
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
The moment that federal legalization happens, California is going to see a huge boon. You can just export everything.
100%.
And not even within the States, overseas.
Yeah, international agreements.
Oh my God.
Let's not lie. Our product gets to international markets and gets to other states. It's just not through legal means. But I would love to ship our product. Like at Vertis, we have a 400,000 square foot facility. We're operating about 150,000 of it. But I would love to just build this place out and have just huge grows and be able to ship that across the states and internationally too. That's a little ways off. There's going to be more regulations when that happens, more taxes.
Have you guys ever thought of coming to Canada and growing? Because a lot of people are in Canada. I know they're shipping to other countries that have started a program, haven't been successful.
I don't think that's ever been discussed amongst the Vertis group. Our owners are really not from the cannabis industry. They're more, their business portfolio is mainly real estate. So they have a large real estate portfolio. So they just happen to get into cannabis. But I might mention it to them. Hey, just I don't know. I don't know if they own anything in Canada or whatnot, but yeah, you're right.
Tim, this has been an awesome conversation. Thank you so much for joining me. Oh, before I let you go, where can our listeners find you?
As far as like social media or
At social media, online.
you can find me. Unfortunately, first we need to get on top of our social media, but you can follow me on Instagram at tbmoreland79. That's my handle. LinkedIn, Timothy Morland, stuff like that. Sorry, I'm not like the biggest social media guy. I'm not like on Facebook or X or something. But yeah, so that's where I'm at. Yeah, no, it's been a pleasure. You can find us at wearevertis.com if you want to find out more about our company and what we do. We're doing some really great things over here and hoping to expand even more. Yeah, no, it's been a pleasure. I'm glad we connected, and let me know when you want to do this again. I'll definitely be game for that.
Definitely. Tim.
Yeah.
Thanks so much.
Thanks. Take care.
Thanks for listening to the KayaCast podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast in your favorite podcast app or visit our website to access the full archive of episodes from the show.